not much that can save us humans. With our current technological capabilities, we cannot survive. To survive as humans, with our needs and greeds, we need to expand into the universe, beginning with the Moon and Mars. The Moon and Mars are our best opportunity in terms of providing grounds for the accommodation of our expansive nature, which cannot be stopped. So we need technology to provide us grounds and possibilities. Technology is not entirely there yet, but in a few generations it will be, if we don't follow the steps of stupidity, which we probably will. But before we get there, there's really not much you can do, except to wait, and then watch the world behave like forests do, with forest fires. You probably think the necessity of going to the Moon and Mars is not great. Think again. In no more than 6 generations, the limits will be reached, and we need at least 12 generations to have a minimum of infrastructure on the Moon. The Moon and Mars won't be going anywhere anytime soon. So the only thing you can do is stay positive and learn and study for the rest of your life. We can only survive ourselves if we all do this. Only then can we go to the Moon and Mars and beyond. But it will never happen. It will never happen. We are Fubar. We are idiots. Why? Just look around. Look at the idiot to the right. Or imagine one of your idiot friends. You know, he or she has done a number of idiotic things and will keep on doing so. Now look at the blithering idiot to the left. Same story. You want to see the biggest idiot? Just have a look in the mirror. Be honest. Rerun all the idiotic things you've done in your life. Now count them. In my case, it was approximately 3,738 idiotics in a 40-year lifespan. Now, multiply the number of idiotic things you've done in your life with the number of people living on Earth. That is 7 billion times 3,738 equals 26,166 billion. Now compensate for average lifespan and possibly more than average idiocy of myself, and then you've got an idea of our idiotic nature. Still not convinced we are idiots? Let me give you a few examples. The world's population is rising exponentially. 2 babies per second. And yet we are having more and more babies faster than we can say diaper. We will do anything to protect our children. But we don't think about the world and her inability to feed and house everybody. We are putting our children in a place that is going to explode. but we don't see it. Another example. Our seas have reached exhaustion as a result of extensive fishing, yet we refuse to stop fishing to let the fish population grow back. 70 million sharks are caught every year for their fins, amongst others, and more cooking TV programs learn us how to prepare the most wonderful dishes of the seas, increasing the demand. That our friends the fish are disappearing faster than you can say tuna. In the Second World War, there was an area north of Britain in the sea where Allied ships, including fishing boats, were attacked continuously by German U-boats called wolf packs. As a result, the British government claimed the area a no-go area, which meant nobody, including fishing boats, could enter the area. The area was closed until the end of the war, 3 years later. In those 3 years, the fish population exploded. But will we make our seas a no-go area? Never. Not even if we let current fishermen catch 10% current quota and pay them additionally for patrolling the seas to help catch poachers. Instead of reducing the consumption of, for example, natural gas by wearing an extra sweater or two during winter, we turn our attention to idiot hybrid or electric cars, which are introduced as one of the answers to our global warming problem. Which is a problem, but not caused by humans. Do you see what I mean? We can reduce instantaneously our usage of natural gas by simply wearing a few extra sweaters. But we don't. We crank up the temperature in our houses during winter to 27 degrees Celsius because we think that is normal. This is an example of how we are our biggest enemies. Let me give you another example. In, for example, Spain, farmers sell their potatoes for 8 cents a kilo. Those same potatoes are sold in the supermarket for 70 cents a kilo. Now, I don't want to ignore the middleman's profit, but understand that we are accustomed to paying such high prices that first, we don't know we are being screwed, and second, as long as we can survive, we really don't mind paying that much. An even slightly bigger example. Since the introduction of the election computer, where no paper trail exists, many doubts about the honesty of this system have been raised. Without a paper trail, it is impossible to verify the elections in a transparent way. Our political landscape is populated not by those chosen by the people, but by those who control the machines we use to cast our votes, turning our reality into a false reality, where whiteboard criminals, aka politicians, can change our world according to their agenda. We don't see how politicians are hijacking our democracies to introduce, without making waves, the North American Union. This is a union that consists of Mexico, the United States, and Canada, to become a borderless community with one currency, the Amero. In 2008, President Bush signed the treaty. This will be the end of the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Also the European Union, the African Union, as well as the Asian Union, will eventually be governed by one global council, the New World Order. Earth is dying. We have problems, but at the same time we amplify our problems with short-term and greedy solutions. If we would only be able to think as an individual or a group of like-minded people, we could tackle our problems. But that will never happen. Why? Because you think you are special, but you are not. I'm saying this with all respect for your being, but please stop thinking that you are special, because you are just as special as a cockroach in a restaurant. You have the potential to be special, but you probably didn't pay the price. Therefore, you are not. And this is how the global elite sees you, as cattle. If you will not use your intelligence, then you are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. And not only are you a beast of burden, but also the steak on the table by choice and consent. Those who control the economy and governments live in a theoretical world of numbers and documents describing their investments, their debts and credits, their wealth and properties, and through those numbers they change the world to accommodate their necessities. People are numbers with data hanging from their tails, giving the bookkeepers something to hang on to. Remember, the bookkeeper is king. To have a realization of how the world works, you need to study and observe for a lengthy period of time. If you don't study, open your mind for every theory possible, you will never reach the intellectual level that you need to even see a little piece of reality. Remember that what you see is like what you see when you look through a keyhole. It's just a little piece of reality. Reality is not something that occurred just like that. Our reality is one meticulously crafted by powers that rule the world since centuries. If you believe in God, no offense, you believe in an idea that over the millennia has been perfected by the ruling classes. The same thing goes for money, which really only exists because we believe in banks, not because those banks can vouch for the real value of the money owned by the people.